We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, 13th chapter, text number 48. Please open 3.13.48. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Narayanam
Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavate Ruttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishriki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, chapter 13, text 48. Ya evametam harimedhaso hare
Evametam harimedhaso hare
katham subhadram kathaniyamayanam
Katham subhadram kathaniyamaina
Shanvita bhaktya shravayeta voshataim
Srinaveta bhaktya shraveta voshasim
Janardano syashuhidi prasidati.
Janardhanasya shuridi parishati.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Ki
Jai.
Translation. If with an attitude of devotional service one hears and describes this auspicious narration of Lord Bore's pastimes, which are worthy of description, the Lord, who is within the heart of everyone, is very pleased. So if with devotional service, attitude of devotional service, one hears and describes. Okay. So we are trying to describe and we are trying to hear. Haribol.
Haribol.
So if we do that, then what happens? The Lord is very pleased. Haribol.
Haribol.
Purport.
What is the meaning of describing and hearing in devotional service? What is the meaning of describing and hearing in devotional service?
Devotional service, attitude. Attitude of devotional service. That means we are hearing with faith, with trying to please Krishna. See, there can be many attitudes. Just like our Kamsa is also always hearing about Krishna, what he is doing in Vrindavan. Yes or no? What is his attitude? Devotion means to please. So Kamsa is hearing what? For what purpose? The envious attitude. Hatred attitude. I have to kill him. That is his attitude. Shishupal also hears about Krishna, no? As how Shishupal goes speak so much about Krishna. He has been also hearing about Krishna. And he is also describing about Krishna. Okay? Even Hiranyakashipu also hears about Krishna and describes about Krishna. You understand? So in the same way, our materialistic people also in this world also hear about Krishna. And they may describe about Krishna. Mayavadis hear about Krishna and describe about Krishna. So many people are there who hear and describe. But unless there is devotional attitude, Krishna is not going to please. Devotional attitude means when we are hearing to please Krishna, we are hearing to glorify Krishna. We are hearing because I want to serve Krishna. Devotional service. And with great appreciation, with great love. Bhakti also means love. The attitude of bhakti means with love. Okay. Yes. So feelings of love. That means when we are hearing about Varahdev today, we should understand that is Varahdev is Supreme Lord Krishna himself, none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, and he is most dear well-wisher friend of mine. So that way very personal, loving connection with Lord Varahdev if we hear. Purport. In his various incarnations, the Lord appears, acts and leaves behind him a narrative history which is as transcendental as he himself. Every one of us is fond of hearing some wonderful narration. But most stories are neither auspicious nor worth hearing because they are of inferior quality of material nature. Every living entity is of superior quality, spirit, soul, and thus nothing material can be auspicious for him. Intelligent persons should therefore personally hear and cause others to hear the descriptive narrations of Lord's activities, for that will destroy the pangs of material existence. Out of his causeless mercy only the Lord comes to this earth and leaves behind narrations of his merciful activities so that the devotees may derive transcendental benefit. Haribo. So Krishna appears in so many incarnations to create Krishna Katha, and when this Krishna Katha is narrated and heard, then the purpose is solved. Because what happens by hearing Krishna Katha? You know, two things are mentioned in this purport. First is that each and every one of us have a propensity to hear something nice. किसी ने कुछ heroic activity किया उसको सुनने की बहुत इच्छा होती है किसने क्या किया and that's why there are so many movies which show some hero who comes and does some romance or some action and this that and you say wow मजा आ गया so but then Prabhupada is saying that but hearing all that is neither auspicious it's not auspicious, it will simply increase your material desires when you hear about some materialistic people, and neither it is worth hearing, because it is about some materialistic person, it's not about some eternal supreme person about it. So hence, by having Krishna Katha like this, about the Supreme Lord, we get a nice subject matter to hear, which we are always eager to hear. And second thing is that what happens is that not only that, but this hearing is so auspicious that it destroys the pangs of material existence, if one hears, and it also awakens the bhakti in our heart. So hence, making this as a basic introduction for today's class, we are now beginning the narration of Lord Varahdev. Haribo! Today is the auspicious day of appearance of Varahdev, so we will hear about Varahadev's appearance and pastime. This is happening on today's day. So when on this day, when we hear about this narration, then we are actually living in that into the pastime. So this is described very detailedly, very very detailedly in Srimad Bhagavatam in Canto 3, chapter number 13. It is described very nicely. The name of the chapter is Appearance of Lord Vara. Plus it is described again in chapter number 18 and 19. So and in between chapters also there is something is described. So we try our best from chapter number 13 to chapter number 19 of third canto, to give you a summary in next half an hour. Haribol. So we'll do our Herculean task of today's on this Vara appearance day. Haribol. So once upon a time, it's a long, long back in the very beginning of the creation. This is just the time when Lord Brahma has taken birth, or you can say the beginning of this day, today's day of Brahma. Not that he has taken birth, it's his 50th birthday on today's day. Very well. We can wish Brahmaji happy birthday, whole day of Brahma. Today's the day. So it's a long birthday. Birthday celebration, we can have whole for us our whole lifetime, and maybe practically many lifetimes will be we can celebrate his birthday. So today's day when Lord Brahma took birth. So after taking birth, he was very very dynamically thinking, and first he prayed very wonderfully, that last time, and after that, he knew that now he has to make creation. So the first person he created was the four Kumaras. Okay. And these four Kumaras, and his desire was that now these four Kumaras should go and create a progeny. But then these four Kumaras decided that Hare Krishna, we are going to have nice time. Why should we waste our time in this household affairs and all? Let us just think of Krishna and just chant Hare Krishna and go back to God. We are not interested in these stuffs, and we'll remain 5 years old only. So Brahmaji became very angry. He was not happy. So later on, Brahma created. So this is 13th chapter beginning. So Brahmaji created at this point of time. In text number, start with text number 6. So Brahma created Manu and his wife Shatrupa simultaneously. So Manu and Shatrupa are eternally wife. They never physically gets married in this creation. They don't take birth as small baby child and then they grow. They just grow like a fully married husband-wife couples. Okay. So after his appearance, Manu, this is question number 3. After his appearance, Manu, the father of mankind, along with his wife, thus addressed the reservoir of Vedic wisdom, Brahma, with obeisances and folded hands. So Manu is speaking. You are the father of all living entities and the source of their subsistence, because they are all born of you. Please order us how we may be able to render service unto you. So in that way, Manu is very, very submissively asking, please tell us how should we serve. This is the proper way. O worshipable one, please give us your direction for the execution of duty within our working capacity, so that we can follow it for fame in this life and progress in the next. So very important that Srila Prabhupada explains there that Brahma is a direct recipient of Vedic knowledge from personality of God, and anyone discharging his interested duty in disciplic succession from Brahma is sure to gain fame in this life and salvation in the next. So that's why very important that we take the instruction in the line of Lord Brahma, as Swambhuman is also speaking this. And then Prabhupada is giving the whole line and till Srila Prabhupada himself. This line of disciplic succession from Brahma is spiritual, whereas the genealogical succession from Manu is material. But both are on the progressive march towards same goal of Krishna consciousness. Okay. So many people focus a lot on Gotra, right? So the Gotra is called as material line, right? So genealogical succession from Manu, so that is Gotra. So many people consider Gotra very important, but the purpose of Gotra is also to progress towards Krishna consciousness. But more important than that Gotra is a spiritual Gotra, which devotees get from Brahma, right? And what is that Gotra called as? Achyut Gotra. So as soon as you get initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, your Gotra changes from whatever Gotra was there. You forget all that Gotra and your Gotra becomes Achyut Gotra, right? So because then we are more concerned with the spiritual life. Okay, so now Brahmaji is being happy with Swambhu Manu's determination to serve him. Brahmaji speaks. And he says, my dear son, O Lord of the world, I am very pleased with you, and I desire all blessings for you and your wife. You have without reservation surrendered yourself unto me with your heart for my instructions. So very important words are used here. These are very wonderful verses. So he's saying, Yan nirvadikena hida. Nirvadikena means without reservation or without duplicity. So with such heart, you are asking. He's not thinking that I want, sometimes a person may go to spiritual master, I want this instruction only from my guru. And then you don't get this instruction, then you are manipulating that no, Prabhu, but I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do that. And then finally spiritual master says, just like Brahmaji was very disturbed when the Chatushka Maharaj didn't agree. Whereas here Swambhu Manu is very submissive. He is not saying that this is what I want to do. He is saying what? You tell me what you want me to do. Right? Whatever you say, that's what I will do. So, and he is very genuinely saying, not that he is just making it up. And ultimately, after once Brahma says that great progeny and say, "Arey, kya hai, usme bahut mehnat hai, better I go and both my husband, wife, both of us will go and do some tapasya." Right? So he is not thinking like that. He is very sincere in his approach. So that pleases very much. So that's why he's saying, I am very much pleased with you. So this pleasing spiritual master is very important. Pritas tubhyam aham tata. So very lovingly he's speaking. Next verse is saying, "O hero, your example is quite befitting a son in relationship with his father. This sort of adoration for superior is required. One who is beyond the limit of envy and who is sane accepts the order of his father with great delight and executes it to his full capacity." Right? So, so especially father here means especially father who gives spiritual instruction in line of Brahmaji. If our what is that? Our material father also gives us the same instruction, then he is also spiritual father, no problem. Right? But here especially it refers to spiritual master. Since you are very obedient son, I ask you to beget children as qualified as yourself in the womb of your wife. Rule the world in pursuance of the principles of devotion, service, and the Supreme Personal Godhead, and thus worship the Lord by performance of yajna. See, Swambhu Manu, if you read the further chapters in the same third canto, go directly to chapter number 22. Then chapter 22 talks about it. Swambhu Manu is is very eager to go to the forest and renounce and do tapasya, but he is not doing that until and unless he found he gets his all his daughters married, and all his sons got married. His son is settled, son is ruling. Who was the son who was ruling? Tanapad. Tanapad started ruling, and his daughters he got settled everyone nicely. And then after once everything is done, then he went out immediately, as soon as he got that opportunity. So he is eager, but then he is not thinking of doing that unless until he is able to satisfy, follow the instructions of his spiritual master. So he is very clear that I should do that. And that's why he gets this instruction, no, you have to do this duty, so he is doing it very faithfully. And he's saying, O king, if you can give proper protection to the living beings in the material world, that will be the best service for me. When the Supreme Lord sees you to be good protector of the conditioned souls, certainly the master of the senses will be very pleased with you. So in that way, Brahmaji gives us wonderful instructions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Janardhan, is the form to accept all the results of sacrifice. If he is not satisfied, then one's labor for advancement is futile. He is the ultimate self, and therefore one who does not satisfy him certainly neglects his own interests. So someone do not please Krishna and does not understand what Krishna's instruction is. Sometimes people may have their own understanding of even a spiritual life. They think that this is spiritual life. This is what I will be very peaceful and happy to do. Right? तो मुझे ये बहुत peaceful और अच्छा लग रहा है. क्या जैसे for example in our voice life, we may feel that going out for preaching is very cumbersome. Going to the first year hostel, talking to them, sometimes they hurt our ego also. Sometimes they don't respond also. Sometimes they run away. So ये सब बहुत cumbersome है. Sitting here in voice and doing some some 10 hours of reading, hearing, some doing some minutes. This is also very pleasing. इसमें कोई मेरा ego hurt नहीं होता है. तो ये अच्छा है. But going out is very difficult. और sometimes तो जी सेवा मुझे देना है तो मैं अकेले दे दीजिए, मैं अकेले पूरा सब सेवा खत्म कर दूंगा. ये साथ में जब सेवा देते हैं एक और डिवोटी के साथ में मैंने it always get so much खिच. So that I don't like. I don't make things happen very powerfully. So sometimes we are very much attached to our own things. This is how I want to do things. But we have to focus on what is pleasing Krishna. Where lies Krishna's pleasure? So it may be some cumbersome for us, but we are ready because we know that that the real good is when we satisfy Krishna. So that's what Brahmaji is saying. If he is not satisfied, then one's labor for advancement is futile. If Krishna is not satisfied, then it is futile. Tesham shramohi aparthaya. He is ultimate self, and therefore one who does not satisfy him certainly neglects his own interest. If someone is thinking, I will not satisfy Krishna, I will focus on myself, actually he is not focusing on himself. He is actually compromising his own interest. Right? So that's why Prahlad Maharaj says, Nate Vidu Swadgatim hi Vishnu. The topmost Swadhi person should constantly satisfy Krishna. Right? Okay. Right. And should not think about his body. Now the Manu speaks. What Manu says? She Manu said, O all-powerful Lord, O killer of sins, I shall abide by your order. Now please let me know my place and that of the living entities born of me. ठीक है, मैं आपका इंस्ट्रक्शन तो फॉलो करूंगा, लेकिन कहाँ पर करूँ? Where should I go now? Because ये तो ब्रह्मा जी के अबाउट में आकाश में बातें चल रही है. So where should I go and where should I produce these children? Oh Master of demigods, please attempt to lift the earth which is merged in the great water, because it is the dwelling place of all living entities. It can be done by your endeavor and by the mercy of the Lord. So this is the very beginning of the day of Brahmaji, right? Just Brahmaji has taken birth in the lotus, right? And the Bhumandala from the previous day had drowned into the Garbhoda ocean. So here Hiranyaksha has not come. Okay, right? Hiranyaksha is no more in this, not there in the scene. I will explain about it. No, one Hiranyaksha will come. This is it's just ekdam beginning day of Brahma. and the first Manu has taken birth. What is his name? Swayambhu Manu. Okay, he's the first Manu. So no, this Hiranyaksha will come in much later. Manu. Okay. Okay. So I'll explain. I'll explain about everything. Okay, slowly. So this is and this no, so at this point of time, what has happened? This whole Bhumandala, not this planet Earth, the whole Bhumandala is underwater. Okay, right. So at that point of time, Manu is saying, so where should I now rule? Where should I rule? कुछ है ही नहीं जगह, no? कुछ जगह ही नहीं है, तो वो तो अंदर में घुसा हुआ है, you know. So then, you know, so this is what he says, you know, that please leave the earth, you know. So it's not there. So then Maitri says, thus seeing the earth merged in water, Brahma gave his attention for a long time to how it could be lifted. And Brahma started thinking, अरे अभी क्या करने का है, you know? Right?
How did it go down? How did it went into the
What? What?
How did the Bhumandala go into the regular
Oh, is it? Pralay, no?
Oh, it's just starting.
So just a day has begun now. Brahma's day is beginning. Just Brahma ji has taken birth. वो तो अंदर ही है. अभी उसको बाहर निकालना है. तो पिछले दिन से पड़ा हुआ है. You know? हाँ, पिछले ब्रह्मा में वही ब्रह्मा था. पर वो पिछले दिन कल का वो उधर पे कल ही डूब गया था वो तो. ठीक है. तभी उसको निकालने का भी ब्रह्मा जी सोच रहे हैं कि कैसे उनको उसको उठाने का है.
ब्रह्मा's birth तो पहला डे मतलब ब्रह्मा का नया मतलब बर्थ हुआ.
100 दिन में कितना?
ब्रह्मा का बर्थ नहीं है.
नहीं
ब्रह्मा का डे चेंज हुआ. ब्रह्मा का डे चेंज हुआ. पिछले दिन रात में ब्रह्मा जी सोते हैं तो फिर वो गर्भोदय क्वेश्चन में चले जाता है. ठीक है, समझ रहे हैं? So there are three kinds of pralay. One is pralay which happens every day of Brahma, right? One is pralay which happens after 100 years of Brahma, and one is pralay which happens in between the day of Brahma. उसके बारे में बताऊंगा थोड़ी देर में. ठीक है, टेक्निकल सब्जेक्ट पे वो आता है. वो ब्रह्मा जी देर में थोड़ा सा नैप ले लेते हैं. 15 minutes होते हैं. वेरी शॉर्ट नैप. वो शॉर्ट नैप वाला होता है, उसका बताता हूँ मैं थोड़ी देर बाद बताऊंगा. This is, you know, because that time another Vara will come. So there are two Varas. So current Vara, so Prabhupada writes in the purport also this point. According to Jiva Goswami, the topics delineated in this chapter are of different millenniums. The present topic are of Shweta Vara millennium. Okay. So this is Shweta Vara means now. That means right now the beginning of this is Swambhu Manu, the Shweta Vara. And topics regarding Chakshusha millennium will also be discussed in chapter. That is, I'll explain. Chakshusha millennium means Chakshusha Manu. Okay. So Swambhu Manu's era is now beginning. Okay. And Swambhu Manu is the first one. Chakshusha Manu is the seventh one, which is currently going on. Okay. Understand? So Hiranyaksha will come in the seventh Manu. Hiranyaksha. अभी बहुत समय बचा है. एक मनु का समझ लेना कितना पीरियड होता है. 71 times Devi Yuga. That is Satya Treta Dwapar Kali मिलाकर this 71 times और वो 6 बार ऑलरेडी हो चुका है. 7वां जो मनु है उसके बारे उसमें आएंगे हिरण्यक्ष. ठीक है, तो उस समय वरादेव दोबारा आएंगे. अभी पहले वरादेव की बात डिस्कशन चल रहा है. इन वरादेव का नाम है श्वेत वरा. ही इज वाइट इन कम्प्लेक्शन. ओके, ठीक है. वहां मत देखिए, वो रक्त वरा है. रक्त वरा जो है वो एक और समय आता है. उनका डिस्कशन आज के इस भागवतम में है ही नहीं. ठीक है, उनका डिस्कशन कभी और होगा. ठीक है, तो देयर आर 3 वरास. वन इज श्वेत वरा, वन इज नील वरा, एंड देयर इज रक्त वरा. ठीक है, so we are talking of Shwet Vara is in the beginning of this Swambhu Manu appears. Okay, so but they are same person. They just change colors for the purpose of pastimes. नहीं, हर मनु के नहीं आता है. हाँ, ब्रह्मा के लिए आता है. ब्रह्मा के स्टार्ट में श्योरली आता है, क्योंकि वो कैसे लिफ्ट करेंगे, लिफ्ट करने के लिए आते हैं. ठीक है, इसीलिए ब्रह्मा जी यहाँ सोचते हैं how it will be lifted. So then after that Brahma thought, while I have been engaged in the process of creation, the earth has been inundated by a deluge and has gone down into the depths of the ocean. What can be done by us who are engaged in this matter of creation? It is best to let Almighty Lord direct us. So we can understand that Brahma This Bhagavatam very clear said that Brahma we call as creator, but actually from second canto itself it begins. From second canto the question begins about how Brahma creates, because second canto is obviously second canto talking about Sarga, that is the primary creation, and Brahma does Visarga, but still Visarga means secondary creation, which Brahmaji doesn't say. So that Visarga is talked in third canto more, but still in the second canto Brahmaji makes it very clear, that I am not doing anything here. Right? This whole creation actually is done by Vasudeva only. So he gives a very beautiful verse how Vasudeva is doing everything. Vasudeva is all the elements are Vasudeva, and all this creation is Vasudeva, and it is all done by Vasudeva. I am simply an instrument here, sitting here, who don't even understand everything. Like that. So in a similar way, actually, Brahmaji is also telling what should be our consciousness. When we are able to do some nice service, that is what we should understand. Krishna is making things happen. Understand and so on. So here he is taking complete shelter of Krishna. That please, Lord Almighty should help him. O sinless Vidura, all of a sudden, while Brahma was engaged in thinking, a small form of a boar came out of his nostril. The measurement of the creature was not more than the upper thumb portion of a thumb. That means thumb का ये portion इतना बड़ा. रेवो.
ब्रह्मा जी के थम को
हाँ, ब्रह्मा के नोस्ट्रिल से निकला है, तो ब्रह्मा के थम की बात चल रही है. So Varahdev ki Varahdev appeared. So Varahdev appeared from the nostrils of Brahmaji. Obviously, now we have seen the movie, so many of your in your mind movie will be going on. how Varahdev came. But wonderful thing is that whole movie is made based on Bhagavatam. If you read Bhagavatam, all this chapter, and then you again watch, you'll find even more excitement, because you'll find exactly every verse they have implemented in the movie. So they have deeply studied every verse and focused on it. So very nice. So that's why, in case you are remembering movies perfectly, it's like you can say movie is helping you to visualize Srimad Bhagavatam more nicely. Okay. So then, O descendant of Bharata, while Brahma was observing him, that boar became situated in the sky in a wonderful manifestation, as gigantic as a great elephant. So अभी इतना size से लेकर बड़ा है, elephant के रूप में बन गया. Struck with wonder at observing the wonderful boar-like form in the sky, Brahma, along with Brahmanas like Marichi as well as Kumaras and Manu, began to argue in various ways. Brahma said, "Is this some extraordinary entity pretending to be a boar? It is very wonderful that he has come from my nose. First of all, this boar was seen to be no bigger than the tip of a thumb, and within a moment he has become as large as boulder. My mind is perturbed. Is he the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu?" When Brahma was deliberating with his sons, the Supreme Person Godhead Vishnu rolled tumultuously like a great mountain. Haribo! So Prabhupada writes in the purport, it appears that the great hills and mountains also have roaring power, because they are also living entities. Haribo! Rolled like a mountain. The mountain कहाँ पर roar? Like a lion बोलिए तो चलेगा. But Prabhupada explains, no, actually they also wrote. The volume of the sound vibrated is in the proportion to the size of material body. While Brahma was guessing about the appearance of Lord's incarnation as a boar, the Lord confirmed Brahma's contemplation by roaring with his gorgeous voice. Haribo! The omnipotent Supreme Person of Godhead enlivened Brahma and the other highly elevated Brahmanas by again roaring with his uncommon voice, which echoed in all directions. So this is a, what is that? You can say this is a transcendental sound vibration, right? From which actually creation happens. When the great sages residing in Janaloka, Taploka, Satloka heard the tumultuous voice of Lord Boar, which was all auspicious sound of the all-merciful Lord, they chanted auspicious hymns from 3 Vedas. Playing like an elephant, he entered into the water, after roaring again in reply to the Vedic prayers by the great devotees. So he encouraged everyone. The Lord is the object of Vedic prayers, and thus he understood that a devotee's prayers were meant for him. So everyone understood that here is the Supreme Lord who has come as a solution to Brahmaji's contemplation. I was thinking how this earth will be lifted. And then, before entering the water to rescue the earth, the Lord boar flew in the sky, slashing his tail, his hard hairs quivering. His very glance was luminous, and he scattered the clouds in the sky with his hoofs and his glittering white tusks. Reo. Purport. When the Lord is offered praise by his devotees, his transcendental activities are described. Here are some of the transcendental features of Lord Boar. As the resident of upper three planetary systems offered their prayers to the Lord, it is understood that his body expanded throughout the sky, beginning from the topmost planet Brahmaloka or Satyaloka. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita that his eyes are the sun and the moon. Therefore, his very glance over the sky was as illuminating as sun or the moon. The Lord is described herein as Mahitra, which means either a big mountain or sustainer of the earth. In other words, the Lord's body was as big and hard as Himalaya mountains. Otherwise, how was it possible that he kept the entire earth on the support of his white tusks? The poet Jaydev, a great devotee of the Lord, has sung of the incident in his prayers for the incarnation. Please sing. Vasati dashan shikhare dharani tavalagna.
Vasati dashan shikhare dharani tavalagna.
Shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna.
Shashini kalanka kaleva nimagna.
Keshavadrita shukar rupa. Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare, Jai Jagadish Hare.
Keshavadrita shukar rupa. Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Jaya Jagadish Hare.
All glories to Lord Keshava, Krishna, who appeared as a boar incarnation. The earth was held between his tusks, which appeared like scars on the moon. It's a very beautiful description. He was personally the Supreme Lord Vishnu and was therefore transcendental. Yet, because he had the body of a hawk, he searched after the earth by smell. You saw in the movie also. He did his pastime. His tusks were fearful and he glanced over the devotee Brahmana engaged in offering prayers. Thus he entered the water. Prabhupada explains, we should always remember that although the body of a hog is material, the hog form of the Lord was not materially contaminated. It is not possible for an earthly hog to assume gigantic form spreading throughout the sky beginning from Satyaloka. His body is always transcendental in all circumstances. Therefore, the assumption of the form of a boar is only his pastime. His body is all Vedas, all transcendental. But since he had assumed the form of boar, he began to search out the earth by smelling, just like a hog. The Lord can perfectly play the part of any living entity. The gigantic feature of the boar was certainly very fearful for all non-devotees, but to the pure devotees of the Lord, he was not at all fearful. On the contrary, he was so pleasingly glancing upon his devotees that all of them felt transcendental happiness. Haribo. Diving into the water like a giant mountain, Lord Boar divided the middle of the ocean, and two high waves appeared at the arms of the ocean, like this, which cried out loudly as if praying to the Lord, "O Lord of all sacrifices, please do not cut me into two. Kindly give me protection." Even the great ocean was perturbed by the falling of mountain-like body of transcendental Boar, and it appeared to be frightened as if death were imminent. Lord Boar penetrated the water with his hoofs, which were like sharp arrows, and found the limits of the ocean, although it was unlimited. This is how transcendental. Right. He saw the earth resting, the resting place of all living beings, lying as it was in the beginning of creation, and he personally lifted it. Lord Boar very easily took the earth on his tusk and got it out of the water. Thus he appeared very splendid. Then his anger glowing like a Sudarshan wheel, he immediately killed the demon Hiranyaksh, although the demon tried to fight with the Lord. Hmm. So here Prabhupada also explained the purport. I'll explain this. Prabhupada says, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the Vedic literature describes the incarnation of Lord Vara bore in two different devastations, namely the Chakshusha devastation and Swambhu devastation. Okay, so Pralay, that I told about Pralay. So first Pralay is the beginning of the day of Brahma, right? The Pralay has happened in the night of Brahma, and beginning of day of Brahma is like beginning of new millennium, right? Of Swambhu. So that time Varahdev comes, is called as Shwetvara. Then, so Shwetvara first time actually ends here.
So every day this
Okay.
happen, bro.
Every day of Brahma, yes.
Every day Varaha comes.
Every day morning, early morning. First darshan of Varahdev, Hari Bol. I don't know. He comes from the nose directly and he lifts. But he comes in different complexion. So there is two millenniums. One is called as Shvetavara millennium and one is called Raktavara millennium. So some of the today's day of Brahma, Shvetavara has come. Maybe tomorrow, some other days, Raktavara comes. Raktavara also comes at certain times. हाँ बता रहा हूँ अभी. So Swambhu Manu was the first Manu, no? Right? But then after that, what happens? You all know the pastime of. You have heard the pastime, maybe little bit here and there, about one king called as Satyavat Muni, Satyavat king. You have heard about Satyavat king? Once upon a time, he went to the ocean. He went to the river and and as he was putting his kamandalu, he got one small fish. And that fish was saying, please protect me, please protect me. You know this pastime?
Yes.
Right? And then the Satvat king brought the fish inside and then he put the fish and fish told, this is too small, I want a bigger one. So he put him in a well. Then the well is too small, and he became big. And he put him in the river. The river is also becoming small, then he put it in the big ocean. In the ocean he expanded huge, immediately, instantly he was like big. And then he understood that this is not some ordinary fish, And then he became Matsya Avatar. Ki Jai.
Yeah.
So then Matsya told that, see what is going to happen now. This is the Satyavat is in the, and this is sixth Manu ending. Okay, right. So this fish told actually now the Pralaya is going to come. This is not the Pralaya of the end of the whole universe or the end of the day of Brahma. This is in between. This is the nap of Brahma. Okay. So Brahma in between take little nap. So समय पूरा प्रलय हो जाता है. Okay. So everything gets प्रलय. So that's what. So you can imagine Brahma's position very important. Took a little nap and then pralaya happened. So Matsavtar told that anyways now pralaya is going to happen. I know that. So what you do? You come and on this nice boat you sit and you bring all the sages and all the species, the seed of all the species also. Everyone you bring, and we'll have a nice Krishna Katha till the time the next thing begins. So then Matsya Puran mein pura Matsya वही आता है Matsya, what Matsya is speaking to Satyavat Muni. So it's a very beautiful. They have a nice time, Krishna makes a nice time for devotees even in Pralaya. So they are doing nice Krishna Katha, Matsya and Satyavat. And then after the whole this Pralaya period is over, which is very short one only compared to the bigger Pralaya. Then the new millennium begins, which is called as Chakshusha. Okay. So sorry, Chakshusha millennium. Chakshusha devastation. Chakshusha devastation that happens in Chakshusha millennium, but the new millennium which begins is called as new Manu. The current Manu is not Chakshusha. Chakshusha was just previous Manu. It's the sixth Manu. So that's why it says Chakshusha devastation. It happens during Chakshusha Manu. Current Manu name is Vaivatsava. Evam Vivatsave Yogam Purtavan Amav. So Vaivatsa Manu, which is the son of the sun god Vivaswan. So Vivaswan's son, his name is Vaivatsva, and he has another name. I forgot his name, but I should remember. He's there. He's telling, hey, you मेरा नाम भूल गया तुम. I think Shraddhadev, like that his name is. So yeah, you can search. Google can give them. What is that?
What type of search?
Seventh Manu, name of seventh Manu. Current Manu. And Google has answered all the questions nowadays. Or Gemini and ChatGPT.
means Vaivasva Manu, also known as Shraddha
Shraddhadev. Shraddhadev is current name, but he's actually same person as Satyavat. Satyavat of the previous Shikshisham. Same person, now he becomes as son of sun god and his name is Shraddhadev now. And also called as Vaivasva because Vaivasva means son of Vaivasva. It's called as Vaivasva. Okay, so just like son of Pritha is called as Partha. Clear? Similarly, son of Vaivasvan is called Vaivasva. Okay, so this particular appearance of boar incarnation actually took place in Swambhu devastation when all planets other than higher ones, Jan and Mahar Satya, merged in the ocean water of devastation. So that is Bhumandala has gone down. Understand? तो ये भूमंडल वाले जिसका ये वाले वरादेव ने किसको उठाया था? भूमंडल को उठाया था. ठीक है, ये वाला वरादेव जो है फर्स्ट वाला श्वेत वरा. This particular incarnation of boar was seen by the inhabitants of planets mentioned above. Shri Vishnu Thakur suggests that the sage Maitre amalgamated both the boar incarnation and different devastation and summarized them in his description to Vidura. So, in this one verse, then he says he brought that earth and then he killed Hiranyaksha. But Hiranyaksha अभी आया नहीं है. Hiranyaksha कब आएगा? जब दीति आए. अभी तक दीति भी नहीं है. कुछ कोई है नहीं अभी. ठीक है, दीति का बेटा है ना हिरण्यक्ष. अभी तो कोई आया नहीं है. अभी तो just शुरू हुआ है. So hence, and also Sambhu Manu is now just coming. You know? So hence nothing is actually has happened till now. Okay, so hence Hiranyaksha can't be here, you know, logically. Okay, so that's why Acharya has explained that actually Vidura Maitra ने थोड़ा fast करने के लिए एक साथ बता दिया जाता है. Later on, Maitra is going to describe very elaborately. Okay, so like that. Okay, so then Acharya is but explaining us that that what happened. So time is over. But at least we have discussed in short the whole pastime and I have explained it. So this Vara who comes, this Vara, second Vara appears when Hiranyaksha performs the disturbance, okay, and Hiranyaksha makes this earth go off the orbit, so that is our earth, this planet earth. Because this time is, and this time it's not Bhumandala. Same Manu plus current one. वरादेव जो है ये फर्स्ट टाइम करके ऐसा भी आचार्य बोलते हैं ये फर्स्ट टाइम करके वरादेव जो है गर्भोदक ओशन में वापस चले जाते हैं. ठीक है, तो गर्भोदक ओशन में ही रहते हैं वो. और फिर जब ये वाला फर्स्ट टाइम होता है तो वरादेव गर्भोदक ओशन से ही आते हैं. वो ब्रह्मा जी की नौ से नहीं आते हैं सेकंड टाइम. ओके,
जो हिरण्यकश्यप
हाँ, हिरण्यक्ष वाले फर्स्ट टाइम में वो सीधे वो अर्थ नीचे जाता है और उधर गर्भोदक क्वेश्चन से ही वो अर्थ को लेकर आ जाता है.
और मूवी में जो दिखाया जाए ये
बिकॉज वो मिक्स किया ना दोनों को मिक्स करना पड़ता है. बिकॉज यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट वरादेव केम दैट टाइम, ओके, बट देन ही डिड द पास्ट टाइम, टू पास्ट टाइम ही डिड. वंस ही डिड दैट टाइम एंड देन ही वेंट बैक एंड देन ही बिकेम नीलवरा. व्हाइल ही वाज इन गर्भोदक क्वेश्चन ही रिमेन्ड इन गर्भोदक क्वेश्चन फॉर 6 months. उधर ही रहे वो. But after that 6 months के बाद जब वो दोबारा devastation हुआ, he came out as Neelvara. Okay, clear? So like that. So because now all these technicalities, if you show in the movie, it's not possible. Movie name is Mahavatar. This is like a prelude to that. You know, just have to explain about Varahdev also because Narasimhadev has to come. Okay. So in that way, I gave you a brief idea, technical ideas also of what's happening, so that you all have understanding. And but what I couldn't discuss is the wonderful pastime of fight, beautiful fight, everything which happens. I have discussed before.
previous year.
Yeah? Last year or
last
sometime last year or sometime before I discussed. It's a very beautiful description. मतलब जिनको एक्शन थ्रिलर मूवीज पसंद है उनके लिए जैसे वो जितना महाप्राण नरसिंह में दिखाया दैट इज वेरी शॉर्ट कंपेयर टू व्हाट इज देयर इन पुराण, व्हाट इज देयर इन भागवतम. बहुत वो भी फाइट अच्छा था लेकिन उतना अच्छा नहीं था जितना अच्छा भागवतम में. भागवतम में पास्ट टाइम में फाइट इज वेरी वेरी पावरफुल, वेरी डायनामिक.
कौन चैप्टर वो?
चैप्टर 18 एंड 19. चैप्टर 18 एंड 19 पूरा पढ़ना पड़ेगा शुरू से अंत तक. एकदम सस्पेंस थ्रिलर है. आई थॉट ऑफ जस्ट रीडिंग इट फ्रॉम द भागवत सुबोधनी बिकॉज उससे फास्ट हो जाता. बट टाइम इज ओवर एंड अंकित इज ऑलरेडी सेइंग प्रभु आई एम रेडी फॉर प्लेइंग द कॉन्शियस एंड आल्सो आउट ऑफ योर क्लास. सो वी विल एंड हियर as we have at least understood that how Varahdev. So and at the end of this chapter only we have reached the end of this chapter. So So what Vidura is saying, someone who hears this, yeah, some few verses. Thereupon the Lord boar killed the demon within the water, just as lion kills an elephant. The cheeks and tongues of the Lord became smeared with the blood of the demon, just as an elephant becomes reddish from digging in the purple earth. Then the Lord, playing like an elephant, suspended the earth on the edge of his curved white tusk. He assumed a bluish complexion, like that of a tamal tree. So this is called as Nilavara. Okay. And thus the sages headed by Brahma could understand him to the Supreme Personal Godhead and offered respectful obeisances unto him. And then the wonderful prayers of the sages are there. Shri Varahdev ki jai. Thank you very much. Let us offer our sincere prayers to Varahdev. Today at 1 o'clock we'll have Pushpanjali. So please, those who can come. 1 to 1:15 and 1:15 we'll have Prasad. So please, 1 o'clock कर सकते हैं पुष्पांजलि? ठीक है. So for Varahdev and fasting already we did yesterday. So today no fasting. Okay. Fine. So let us offer sincere prayers to Varahdev. As today morning we are saying that just like our consciousness, also because of Hiranyaksh, we can pray that how Lord Varahdev killed Hiranyaksh. So Hiranyaksh represents greed for material things, wanting more and more and more material things. So you can pray to Varahdev that just like you killed Hiranyaksh, who is greed personified, may you also kill all this dirty desire to accumulate more things, to become, and which actually distracts us from focusing on Krishna. So rather we can have greed for Krishna Katha. Right? Lobh, Bhakta, Lobh, Krishna Katha, Bhakta Sangha. Bhakta Sangha, Krishna Katha. So Lobh, just the calm Krishna Arpana, Lobh should be utilized for hearing Krishna Katha in association of devotees. That is God. So we can become greedy for hearing about Krishna more and more, understanding Krishna more, serving Krishna more, and not for my own selfishness. So let us pray to Varahdev that he can kill this Hiranyaksh in our heart, and in that way we can become sincere devotee of Shri Bhuvara. Shri Varahdev Bhagwan ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.